Hey, I have a second channel, CubeComp
Hey everybody. So it wasn't long ago that I published this video about the Apevia X-QPack2 computer case. It's a computer case I've been trying to get my hands on for a little while now to do a upcoming build. And guess what, guys? I got my hands on one. This is an open box case. The case, however, has not ever had a build in it from my understanding. I mean, at least from the pictures, it looked like it was brand new on the inside. So, this is an Apevia X-QPack2 case, all black. Unfortunately, it does not have the windows, but I may fix that. I haven't decided just yet on that, but I may consider getting out the Dremel with a little cutter blade and actually installing windows in the thing, kind of like how I did with an E-machine case back in the day, and as well as the current MidTower Deluxe side panel. The side panels on the MidTower Deluxe is not the original one. So, found this on eBay. The seller had listed it 2 times as an auction kind of deal, and it never got any bids to my understanding. So, this was like late at night, like 11:30, 11:45. Probably later than that, actually. So I reached out to the seller, and I got a quick response from them. They said that they were planning to relist it as buy it now, and the next morning they relisted it, and well, I bought it. So it came from Pennsylvania, so luckily didn't have to come too far, and the shipping was like 15 bucks. So computer cases can be expensive to ship. I paid a little more than I guess I could say I paid a little more than I wanted to for this thing, but to find it with the original box, I was like, the chances of finding another one new in box or new with the box would be pretty low, I think. So I just went in and got it. So I tell you what's funny is, and you see it was shipped as you see it in its original box. The tracking information, what's funny is the tracking info that the seller posted on the eBay transaction for several days. Matter of fact, this was shipped out, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday last week, and up through yesterday, Sunday, it kept saying label created, USPS awaiting item. And then I checked my email first thing this morning. I have a informed delivery email. I click it, and it says that this is out for delivery today. I'm like, great. I was concerned about this being on my front porch all day while I was at work. So luckily, I was able to stick around for just a little bit, and I was able to get it directly from the mail carrier. So it's funny. The mail carrier said that they were having a discussion about this at the post office, and thinking it was really cool and all. I was like, yeah, it's a computer case I've been trying to get my hands on. It's no longer made. It's been replaced with, I think, the X-QPack3, which I'm not really interested in. That being said, let's go ahead and open this up. And of course, it's got all this fancy eBay tape all over it. eBay trying to be like Amazon. Okay, so I went in and unboxed the case. It did have the original styrofoam still in the box. So, this case is considered new old stock. It's never had a system built in it before. The only thing it's had done to it is this case actually came with a power supply originally. I think it came with like a 550 watt supply, and of course it's been taken out. Whoever had it last took it out. Someone who had it last took it out anyway. Not sure why anybody would want to have it included in the case power supply, but I don't know. To be honest, I would probably take it out and mod it or whatever. But power supply has been taken out, so that helped lower the shipping weight of this thing. So Other than that, it's never had a computer built in it before. Still has the original generic motherboard I/O shield in place, which you can tell is quite outdated. I mean, it's been a while since motherboards have parallel ports, but a lot of motherboards back in the mid 2000s used early to mid 2000s used that style kind of layout of ports and what have you. But it does not have Windows, but I may have to fix that. Like I've done with the MidTower Deluxe years ago, I got myself a different side panel that just so happened to fit that case, and I cut a big hole in it and mounted a giant window in it, and that was a steel side panel. And also I did the same with the knee machine case that I call the Next Gen Deluxe. It was the computer that used to be in the tech room before the Plexi, and is currently at my grandpa's house right now. But the nice thing is this is aluminum, so it would be really easy to cut a hole in it. I just want to try and make it look as neat as I can. And what's nice is I could decide to only put a window on this side and that side. This case with the window option had a window on the side, top, and the other side. So you got this nice little carrying handle here, which is spring loaded, so it retracts in when the case is not being carried around. Pretty cool. Here are ports. We have two USB 2. We got a FireWire. Got microphone and headphone, power and hard disk activity, reset and power. Because this is an older case from the late 2000s and early 2010s, it's kind of dated on its ports. It does not have USB 3. It does not have, it definitely doesn't have Type C. But what I may end up doing to it is I may do some modifications. Not sure if I'll do anything with this here. I do want to say that this FireWire port is probably attached to this USB header. Can't say for certain on that, but who knows? If it's not, then maybe I could put a Type C port right here. I don't know. And I could add ports into maybe like this right here, this second 5 1/4 inch bay. I do plan to put a DVD drive in the top, and a card reader right here. So who knows? It's something I'll have to think about and figure out. But of course, this case was replaced with the Apevia X-QPack2, which is a bit more modern style case. It has the power supply on the bottom, and it has the ventilation on it. The whole thing is like a vent. But really, to be honest, the X-QPack2 is definitely not bad as far as ventilation goes. I mean, it's all aluminum, so that definitely helps keep it cool. And it's got vents on the side, vents on the front. It's definitely an improvement over the original X-QPack. The original X-QPack also had a plastic handle, and this one has like a metal handle. That being said, let's go ahead and take the panel off, which I've already actually done so, but I figured for video purposes we put it back together. So take this panel off here, and we'll have a look at what's inside. Yeah, this case is very lightweight because of being aluminum. And also, if you're not careful, you can get cut working in this thing because it's got some sharp edges in it. Now, I think that was one of the things that the people did sort of complain about it was it does have some pretty sharp edges that you could cut yourself on if you're not careful. So, this case can sport a micro ATX motherboard. It has two 5 1/4 inch bays. Has one front 3.5 inch bay here. It has two 3.5 inch bays over here for the hard drives. And this little cage here is removable. You take two screws out and this comes right out. It comes with two fans, this 8mm fan here and this 120mm fan here, which I'll test here in a moment. On the back you have this removable motherboard tray that comes out. You give you easy access to the motherboard and CPU and RAM, all that good stuff. It comes with, of course, your headers for your ports up front. I do like how this one has everything pretty much like the USBs already are in, single connector, not single individual plugs for every little wire. I hate it when manufacturers do that. I mean, most motherboards follow this standard anyway. We've got the firewire, which we're not going to be using. The one put in here is definitely far newer than that. We do have this audio header, which they have both the HD audio standard and the AC97 standard there. So if you're using an older motherboard that used AC97 audio, then you were covered. We also have included screws. It's nice that they give you some screws. Of course, I got plenty of screws here, but for someone who's building a computer, let's say for the first time, may not have screws, so it's nice they included them. We got our front panel headers here for hard disk activity. We got a PC speaker header right there, reset switch, hard drive LED, and a split power LED, because some motherboards had the power kind of like that instead of like right next to each other. Frustrates the heck out of me. This case also has built-in temperature readout on the front. Now the defaults are for your CPU and hard disk, but you could use them for whatever you want. Matter of fact, this little display, I have one in the MidTower Deluxe. It's not in the best of shape. It was pulled out of a much older Aspire case, which is what Apevia used to go by. And the thermistors, they're shot. I need to replace them. The LED no longer works in it, but it's still pretty cool. It still works. It's just you can't get quite accurate readouts on my CPU temp. But what's cool is that it has these two thermistors, one for hard disk and one for CPU. This one for the CPU lead is falling off. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's pretty cool. You could jab this in, let's say, the heatsink fan for the CPU, and it will measure temperature. And it's got these little tubes to protect the thermistor. But generally, you kind of have to take the thermistor loose, really, to get an accurate reading. Because obviously, unless you're reading just air temperature, it's not going to get a really good reading. We have a separate power connection for that said display, and the fans also have their own 4-pin Molex connections. What's nice about these fans is you're about to see them. I'm going to plug them into my supply back here. The fans run very quiet. I was thinking for sure I would probably have to swap them out for fans that weren't super loud. But the fans, you can't even hear them. Matter of fact, the noise you hear is the vent in the ceiling up here. Of course, the air's on and it's hot out today. But the fans are actually running in this thing. You can see the back one running there. The fans are running, but you can't even hear them. They move just a little bit of air through. Like I say, I'm still kind of on the fence about keeping them. The rear, I definitely will keep. This front, though, it's not moving a whole lot of air. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking in my head right now. I may leave them both. But, okay, so I got a power supply mounted in this thing, and it's the it's an OEM unit, a Bestech ATX 312E out of an E-machine system from probably 2008, 2007, that era. It's actually one of the ones that already has SATA ports on it. I mean, most of these had just your motherboard connection, CPU power connection, and four 4-pin Molex and a floppy, but this one's got 2 SATA already on it. I'm going to add a couple more. I've gone through this unit, recapped it with fresh Rubicon capacitors. Unit works good. Tested it, works good. You see it's cleaned up and everything. Kind of like new. So what I'm planning on putting in here is a Ryzen 5000 series APU, which has a 65 watt TDP, and I've actually been I've actually been doing, well, over the past about, from 2018 to 2020, I did a whole fleet of upgrades for our local business, Ryzen 3 and Ryzen 5 APUs. Some of the systems had this exact unit. Some of them had the 250 watt 12Z unit out of the HPs. Most of the computers were ones I had refurbished for the business several years back. And I mean, the Ryzen 3 and Ryzen 5 APUs, they're very efficient. They don't really pull much energy, and these old units seem to run them just fine. One thing I do want to mention is, you may see I had the power supply mounted where the PCB is actually in the bottom facing, with components facing up. And that's something about this case I think is pretty cool, is it's universal in how the power supply can be mounted. You can actually have the power supply mounted in the conventional orientation where the circuit board is on the top. Like, let's say with a lot of power supplies that have the intake fan on the bottom. Like the power supply that came with this case, the circuit board was up top and the fan was on the bottom and the vent was on the back. As you can see, this case, you can see how the fan orientation is molded, or is cut to where you can install the unit with the fan on the left if it's a rear exhaust fan type power supply. And I think this is actually pretty cool because, of course, heat rises. So instead of your power supply PCB being up here baking all the time, it's in the bottom, and heat, of course, rises. So it may actually help out with the unit. Yeah, guys, that is an X-QPack2 case. Finally got my hands on one. And like I said, it didn't come with Windows built into it, so I may actually install Windows myself. Because, like I say, this aluminum should be easy to cut. And I could do it with a Dremel or something like that. Or I might just leave it as is. Like I say, I'm still kind of on the fence about that. Again, let's look at a new old stock Apevia X-QPack2 computer case. I look forward to doing a build in this thing pretty soon. It's going to be kind of a, I'm not going to say a low-end build, it's going to be kind of in the middle, because it's going to be using some new parts. It's going to also be using some existing parts that I have. So, there you have it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Well, everybody, that wraps it up for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to your channel, and be sure to tick that bell so you'll get notified when new videos are posted. Also, don't forget, I have a whole lot of other interesting videos here on the channel to check out. And also, in addition, I have a second channel, QCompMTDX, where I have all sorts of other videos not exactly related to technology. Links to the channels are available at the end of this video. Again, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching this video.